people just don't have much of an attention span. It's my opinion anyway. I know we only average about a minute on our video podcast on YouTube, so it's not very long. Only about 1% listen to all of it. It's a pretty small amount of people. It's not very many. But it's a couple hundred people that listen to all of it, so thousands that listen to just like a minute. So that's what it is. I think as we get better and better at it, we'll get more and more people and longer view times. Same thing with music.
Okay, we are live now. We're just getting viewers lined up right now. So we're counting down. I have a clock on here now.
How are you going to be at this? Where are you going to be? Where are you going to sit?
I'm here. I'll be switching camera back and forth between me and you.
So you'll be able to.
Yeah, I'll be right here.
You're going to be in the podcast with us.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. What time is it?
12:50.
12:50. Okay.
12:51 right now.
Terrific. Okay.
So I get it. You're the cameraman as well. Huh?
Cameraman and host. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. A man of many talents.
Yes.
I
Okay.
gotta say that in the bio here.
All right. I'm gonna start inviting people.
So one of the advantages with Keith doing this is that he is getting us on some live platforms, as well as we're going to record, of course, and go on the YouTube channel, Spotify, etc. So we haven't done that before, so this is really cool.
Yeah, we'll be going live in 10 minutes for those of you joining right now. In the background, you hear Ron and his guests discussing what's going to happen today.
Yes.
Just bear with us about another 10 minutes and we'll be live. In the meantime, you can watch our prep. Okay. Now we can just do what we do, and I'll pick up the camera in a minute. Okay, and we can just talk. So we're just letting people gain in, and people will sign in, and they'll hear us talking, and they'll say, well, what's this?
So, a lot of times people, they do these podcasts about addiction, but, as soon as you say addiction, they think drug, alcohol, but to me, there's a whole lot of addictions. That's why I've got a long list of different kinds of addictions. And we're just
that's cool.
So we probably won't get to them all because we're going to have a lot to say and back and forth, but that's the goal anyway.
Can you scoot your chair just a little further over as close as you can? That's perfect right there. Yeah. This doesn't matter, but it does. Okay. And now let's get this. Do you have your phone with you?
Yes, sir.
Can you sign into TikTok, please?
I am actually doing that right now.
Okay. And we'll get this, get you recording this for me. Oh, and we got people joining in. Stay with us. You're going to like this. This is a podcast that's a personal development podcast. And this gentleman has been doing this for years. This is his first foray into the TikTok audience. I think you're going to like him a lot. Be patient with me. Hang tight. Oh, people are loving it and hearting it. And hi from Florida. Hi, Florida. How are you? Hi, Boo. Hi, Pickles. Hi, everybody. Great. Come on board, everybody. You're going to have a good time with this, and you might pick up a little something. It's about addiction, but not from the 12-step point of view, from the overall point of view of addictions, food, human beings, activities, cussing, anything can be an addiction, and we're going to talk about that today.
We're going to talk about it from the heart, not just like from the book, but from personal experiences.
There you go. That was our host.
Our whole goal with our whole podcast is to be real with everybody based on experience, not just something out of a textbook.
That's correct.
That's why
perfect.
It's raw, but it's real.
It's raw, but it's real. I'm going to put you there where you can see. That's our host. I'll be introducing him just shortly. That's Ron, and he has a multifaceted company that begins with the first two words, soar high. And that pretty much describes what Ron's got in mind. He wants everyone to fly at the top of their ability.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to be getting into that in just about 5 minutes. Let's let TikTok. Thank you, Danny. Hello, how are you? And hi from Texas. Hi back at you. And hello, Dame Train. Yeah, please stay with us a little bit. You're going to like this. So what time we got now?
12:54.
12:54. You know what? I think because have you managed to sign in yet?
Yes, actually.
Are you on the podcast? Keith Roy Chrisman?
I got Keith Roy Chrisman.
Yeah. Those of you that know me know I'm Keith Roy Chrisman. Some of you know that too well. He's looking. We're going to make sure. But honestly, I'm not. I guess this will record the entire show, but I'm doubling down. I want to make sure that we record the entire show. And we're going to have some fun. We're going to have some. Oh, this is actually a 2-in-1. We're going to do the educational and enlightening podcast, and then we're going to do something that we like to call Ron's Rants. And essentially, Ron's an old guy like me, and he gets tired of shit, and he's going to tell us about it. So hang tight for that, too.
So it's Roy and then Christman?
Chrismon, Chrissmon, like Yaman. You find me yet?
What's up, Ed?
I believe so.
Card number? Okay, go ahead. Okay. 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 Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
that's me.
Yeah. You there? Okay, right on. You found us. Okay.
Total?
So, look, we're getting a lot of people. There's Nomo. That's you, huh?
That's
Yeah.
it.
All right. Okay. All right.
Bye-bye.
Well, we're here. Okay, we're here and we're going, so there's no reason in the world not to get started, so let's just do that. My name, again, is Keith Roy. Across the table from me, I'm about to introduce you to, is Mr. Ron Bass, the motivational guru for Soar High Motivational Personal Development. And with no further ado, this is Ron Bass.
Hey guys, it's Ron Bass with another edition of Soar High Personal Development, your source for inspiration. Okay, today we're going to talk about a favorite subject. Well, maybe not a favorite subject, but an interesting subject, an important subject, addiction. And it's not just like drug addictions, which is what most people think about when they think about addiction. We're going to talk about all kinds of addictions today. Sugar addictions, carbohydrates like bread, gambling, nicotine, and that comes in all forms. You've got vaping, you've got cigars, you've got cigarettes, you've got chewing, all that. But nicotine really is the drug. That's the problem. Marijuana, alcohol, meth, heroin, caffeine, that's one of my favorite things to do. And people addiction, like codependency. It's a big problem. So we've got, of course, Keith is with us here today. He's got a lot of credits. This guy's a man of many talents. Of course, he's an actor, he's a producer, he's a filmmaker, just to name a few of his titles. And today he's helping me with the podcast, which I appreciate very much. We're going live the first time after almost 2 years, so this is really exciting for all of us. And hope you guys enjoy it, so here we go. Also, we've got Nomo here with us today. That's his stage name. He's an artist with our company, Soar High Records, Soar High Entertainment, and he's joining us today. His real name is Malik Williams, and he's from Springfield, Missouri, which is where I'm from as well. Appreciate you coming in, man.
Yes, sir. Of course, appreciate you for letting me
So, let's just start with sugar and talk about the pros and the cons of sugar. Why is it that everybody wants everybody wants sugar? I mean, I think it's not just that sugar tastes good, but there's a chemical reaction in the body, and I guess the brain likes sugar. And so what happens? The downside, of course, is that weight gain. A lot of weight gain, right? And if you're not exercising, you're probably going to get overweight. You get overweight, there's a whole lot of other problems that come with that. Of course, eating it can be an addiction as well, right? A big addiction. You get into the bread thing too. So I love bread, but I work out all the time, so that helps me to keep the weight off. I really never gain any weight. But if you didn't work out and you're up in the years and you eat a lot of carbohydrates and sugar, you're probably going to have some big weight problems. So what do you think about that, sir?
Even some health problems, I would say. Like some people even get diagnosed diabetes just because they consume so much sugar, so it's just.
So diabetes is a big problem. So I thought diabetes was more like a genetic thing, but it comes from too much sugar?
Yeah, there's a genetic one, and then there's one you can track. Just
Speaking of sugar.
their eating habits and stuff
There you
like
go.
that.
There you go.
Barks Got Bites is the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Barks.
I know in my
It's the
experience,
best root beer ever.
it is. It's the best.
It is the best.
We are not sponsored by Barks, but
No,
it's
we're
really
not.
good. I just defeated diabetes.
You defeated it.
I did. I was
How
at
did
three.
you get the diabetes?
Well, I was 320 pounds.
So how does that work? How does the body work that way? What is diabetes?
Diabetes is your body's inability to process sugar.
So you get too much sugar in your system and it overloads?
And it overloads. Your kidneys work overtime trying to excrete it, which causes kidney damage.
So kidney damage?
Your liver suffers and becomes fatty from the kidney problems. It's a house of cards. As you lose
It's
weight,
like a domino effect then.
indeed, as you lose weight, those carbs, that inability falls away, and you begin processing the sugar right. Insulin was supplied to fat asses who don't want to lose weight.
Is that the bottom
That's
line?
the bottom line.
Is,
yeah.
there, is there not like
Yeah.
genetic?
Yeah, I mean,
Diabetes? How does that
I'm
work?
almost a third Cherokee. I have a marker for diabetes. However, if my weight's good,
So then you don't have a
Then I'm
diabetes
good.
problem. Is that what
no.
you're saying?
I have 3 brothers. All 3 have morbid diabetes, morbid obesity. They're not going to get any better. I'm getting better because, for one thing, I was
You said
blessed
you lost
with-
almost 100 pounds.
almost 100 pounds. Yeah, and I'm
That's nice.
I'm going for the whole 120. I was
So
120 over.
here's the question for the audience. Here's the answer and the question. What do we do to stop this sugar and carbohydrate addiction? What can we do to help the audience to deal with that? Because obviously it's a big problem everywhere.
You know,
I've got my ideas. But I wanna
well,
hear
my
yours.
only idea, the only thing that worked for me was just to stop.
Stop.
Just stop. Lay off the
What kind of
processed
withdrawals
sugar.
do you have when you stop?
Super tired,
Tired,
kind of depressed,
depressed.
not feeling very sharp. And then I began to bring it back in. But I brought it in with popsicles or a spoon of sugar in a coffee, not cake or.
What about
yeah,
sugar
nothing
substitutes?
heavy.
Does that help?
No, in fact, it hurts.
How's that?
Sugar substitutes, and I bet people will agree with me. If you do agree with me, let us know and we'll try to get to you. Oh, hi. Okay, hi, Eddie. Sugar substitutes trick your body into thinking that it has sugar. So it releases insulin.
Oh, okay.
And the insulin says, what sugar? And now we got a problem.
Now you got another problem.
So now, and then it says, okay, then it must be salt. So it says, well, let's store it until we know. So now you're gaining weight. Diet drinks cause weight gain.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Period. I'm not alone in this. There's a lot of research to back me up. But now go ahead. I kind of that.
No,
you,
go
you
ahead.
touched on a really special point
Well,
for me.
I think this is a big problem
Yeah.
for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Is sugar.
Yes.
And bread, which I'm a big fan of both. But here's the deal, from my perspective, if you'll just think about exercise, and I know I preach about this all the time, but exercise to me should be the centerpiece of life. If you exercise every day, and I'm not talking about going crazy with weightlifting and jogging, if you just do 30 minutes a day of some kind of walking or treadmill or jumping jacks or push-ups or sit-ups or hell anything, you're going to get your weight under control. And then what happens is you get more addicted to that process to where you can do more exercise and more. I remember reading an article one time about a guy that had a heart problem. And they said, you're not going to make it, you're going to die. So he decided he was going to go out and walk and jog because he wanted to end his life, so he figured that'd kill him. So he went out and he walked like a half a mile, and he could barely stand up afterwards. But guess what?
You felt better.
He didn't die. The next day he went out, he doubled it. And the next day, and the next day. After about a month, he was able to jog 1 to 2 miles a day.
And that's
so the moral of the story, and this is a true story, the moral of the story is, just when you think it's all over, if you don't give up and you hang in there, magic can happen.
There you go. No, that
Amazing.
true.
So exercise to me is the centerpiece of everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying once again you have to go crazy with it, but it's very, very important for so many different reasons. I know it sounds simple and it's going to be hard to do when you don't feel good and you're tired and you're overweight, but you've got to do it.
That's
You
kind
have
of
to
a
do
key
it.
point,
I
isn't it?
speak from my own personal experience.
Yeah.
I started going to the gym 8 years ago. I was 61 when I started, and people were looking at me like, "You're crazy." And I do jiu-jitsu every night. You know, I'm 69 going against kids that are 18, 19, 20 years old. But I'm telling you, you can do anything you want to do if it's important enough to you. You just have to engage and don't give up. And you need good mentorship. You need people around you that can set the example. Like I have a black belt in jiu-jitsu who's just wonderful. He's like a fitness coach for me, as well as my jiu-jitsu coach. And he inspires me every single day to exercise. So I'm just saying, mentorship is really important. If you don't have somebody that in your life that you can look up to, find somebody.
Yeah.
Because that's a big deal. Big deal. Malik?
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, mentorship, especially like that's kind of how I grew up. I was always like the bigger brother figure, you know what I'm saying? So like, even anywhere from my friends coming up in school, even to the people up here, you know what I'm saying? I would just try to look out for the next person, because I mean, you never know, because you may need some help, and a lot of people do actually look kindly on like good acts, you know what I'm saying, good gestures and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, they do.
You know what you're going to find out too, as you come up through the ranks and you become more successful, more and more people are going to come to you for your leadership, and that's the way it works, man. I mean, I see it every day in my life with people that are involved in their, whether it's sports or business or music or whatever. As they become successful and become setting a good example, people are going to come to you for that help and that support. And then you go from being like the guy on the bottom end to the guy at the top of the podium, to where everybody's coming to you for support. That's a very important thing. And then what happens in your life is that you realize you got to get rid of all these bad addictions, because people are paying attention to you. I can tell you in my own life, I had a lot of problems. I had a big pill addiction. I had a cocaine addiction. And this is years ago, and then let's talk about cigarettes. let's talk about nicotine and vaping. That's a huge problem. People don't realize anything going in your lungs except for air is not healthy. Now, I get the medical marijuana side of the fence. I get the idea that some people need marijuana to keep them calm, to keep them, that they have some kind of chemical imbalance. If they have a medical issue where they're sick and they're in a lot of pain, okay, I get it. But just for the idea of doing it to do it, I don't agree with it. I think it makes your brain slow. I think it's not going to help your lungs. I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with me, but I'm only backing this up with facts, not just like my own opinion.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
No, I agree with that.
I see this reaction really easy.
No, that was a cameraman reaction.
Oh, okay,
I just moved you from a single to a two shot. So
I don't mean to preach, but I speak how I feel.
Well, yeah, I understand. Like carcinogens is definitely bad, but like there's been studies made that show THC receptors in the human body. So smoking is bad, yes.
Well, I'm telling you, when you smoke marijuana, you're still putting smoke in your lungs.
So yeah, smoking is bad. Smoking, vaping.
Now, if you want to take some edibles, that's a little different.
It changes the game. It does.
Like Willie Nelson, he's 89 years old, and when he was like mid-80s, he was diagnosed with whatever. He was really sick. He quit smoking, went to edibles. Mm-hmm. He's still playing music at 89, by the way.
I just saw a story about Willie. He ate so many cookies that he thought the skin was falling off his bones.
Yeah, he thought flesh was coming
But he didn't die, and that's the interesting thing. I mean, we're diverting slightly, but for those of you who want to quit doing major drugs, and I was one of those 7 years ago, marijuana will keep you away from the other drugs. It will help you escape the actual
But it's still
addiction.
a drug. It's still a drug that replaces another drug.
And so
the only way to really quit addiction is to quit all of it. I'm just saying.
You really can't argue.
You can justify it and rationalize, but in the end, I'm telling you,
you can't argue with that as the facts. These bodies were not designed to be high. However, there's a lot of stress. There's a lot of outline. There's diet problems.
I get
problems.
it. That's why you have to counter it with exercise. If you exercise it's a natural narcotic.
Yeah, well, that's for true.
The endorphins.
Yeah, the endorphins
and I read so many articles about how much exercise helps you mentally. It prevents dementia. It keeps your brain sharp. Your body's better. You sleep better. You feel better. You look better. You're stronger. You're more fit. I could go on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm beating the table.
Beating the table. I'm using it as a.
I get passionate about this.
And
once again, I just want to say, it's not like you have to go out and run a marathon. Although there are people in their 80s and 90s, and even in their hundreds, that are doing marathons. It's crazy, but they're doing it.
Yeah, 15K.
Which just goes to prove what? That anything is possible.
Anything is indeed possible.
Right or wrong. Don't ever give up. Don't ever quit. Always hang in there. Just around the corner is success when you don't give up. But people give up. People give up. People give up. People give up. People give up all the time. You can't do that. You got to hang in there. I speak from experience. My life's been up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. My business career is over 40 years. I've failed more than I've been successful, but guess what? I never gave up. I hung in there, and now we're enjoying a successful business. So the key is don't quit. Okay, back to addiction. Sorry, I got a little excited about things.
It's all right. A little early preview of Ron's rant.
There you go. But now, look, let's talk about caffeine. People say to me, Ron, when you quit smoking, you started drinking coffee. Yeah, well, caffeine's a whole lot different than putting cigarette smoke in my lungs. By the way, I was a heavy smoker. from 13 to 31, I smoked 2 to 3 packs a day.
Wow.
I can tell you, 40 years later, I can still feel it. And I exercise a lot, and I can still tell the damage in my lungs. They say it clears up. I don't think it does. Maybe some of it, but I don't think it all clears up. That nicotine sticks in your lungs, and whatever it does, it damages your lungs.
Yeah, just imagine burning a piece of your skin every day for however long.
There you
however
go.
many times you smoke a cigarette. Like, it's gonna heal, but it's gonna be damaged at the same time.
Let's talk about vaping. What's your opinion on vaping?
So vaping, vaping is like, it's not any better. I've had vapes damn near blow up in my hands. So like they're just as dangerous, if not worse.
I've read articles that there's a certain physical reaction that's killing people from vaping.
Popcorn lung.
Popcorn
Yeah.
lungs.
Yeah,
What's that all
shit's
about?
Crazy too. Like I know about it, but I'll still hit a vape. You know what I'm saying? But
Well, there again, that's and so let's talk about it. Why don't people quit their addictions?
I feel like because whenever you experience the positive side of the high, the negatives don't seem as serious just because the probability of it whenever you are
That's a
enjoying
good
the
point.
goodness,
I
you know
think
what
the
I'm saying?
high erodes the judgment,
Yeah.
the better judgment. So when you're high, everything seems great, but when you're not high, you got to get high again because it hides the good judgment. Because you know it's wrong, you know it's bad for you, but you're doing it anyway, right?
Yeah, that's very true. I'm not gonna lie.
So for the public out there listening, here's the deal. I quit cold turkey cigarettes, I quit cold turkey pills, I quit cold turkey cocaine. Did I suffer? Yes. Was it worth it? Hell yes, it was worth it, because once you get through all that pain and heartache and physical issues, your life is 1,000,000% better. And if you'll just take on some exercise, like I suggested earlier, you'd be surprised how much better you're going to feel. Not only physically, but how you feel about yourself for overcoming the problem. That's a big deal. I talk about this all the time too. Like, accomplishment is really key, but going towards the accomplishment, the journey to get there, is just as important as getting there. Because you feel good about yourself for working your ass off, for overcoming things that are complicated and difficult and painful and hurtful, but you get through it. Guess how you feel about yourself? Like $1,000,000. I mean, there's no comparison. Forget the money. Just talk about how you feel about yourself. How you feel about yourself for doing something that's worthwhile in your life, right?
Real.
Instead of just like getting high all the time and saying, oh, well, I'll worry about that later. You can't do that. You have to be productive, and you have to be sober to do it, in my opinion. I get the marijuana side of the fence. I get the idea that it is a tranquilizing effect, that it does help people with chemical imbalance issues and pain issues. I get it. But other than that, maybe recreationally, like maybe having a beer once in a while, but every day, all day long, no way, Jose, in my opinion. At any rate, caffeine, coffee. So when I quit smoking, 2 things I did to quit smoking. I started drinking coffee, and I started exercising. And I was able to get through it. And I was a heavy smoker, like up to 3 packs a day when I quit. So if I can do it, you can do it. That's something I'm trying to say. That's why I love this podcast, because it's from the heart. You know, it's not, like I say, reading out of a textbook. Everything is based on my own experiences in life, or your experiences.
Right.
Of course, you're young coming up the ranks, but Keith and I, we've been around for a minute. Keith's had a lot of issues, but he's had to overcome. And when I met him, I was particularly impressed about the idea that he is making another comeback after many other ups and downs, 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 ups and downs. But he's not giving up. He's moving forward. He's had medical issues. He's had some personal issues. But you know what? He's a tough cat. And he's willing to come back out and hit it again. And he's helping us with this podcast. And I'm very appreciative of that.
Those are kind words, Ron. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, the bigger problems are like the meth and the heroin. Those are like, wow. My brother died from meth. He would like, and I didn't know this when he died. He was 49, Christmas morning, crazy, dead on the kitchen floor. I didn't know it until later, but he was actually using needles and shooting up. I didn't know that. I thought he was just like smoking it maybe. So I'm just saying, you know, I don't care who you are, and he was a big marijuana smoker too, by the way. Did that lead to the meth? I don't know. People say yes, people say no. Who really knows what the truth is? Does one thing lead to the next? Maybe, probably. But in the end, you can figure all that all you want, but the bottom line is you can't be doing drugs if you want to lead a successful life. It just doesn't work. Yes, sir.
I have a question. Okay, so regardless of the substance, would you agree that addiction comes from something else missing?
Yes.
Which you tapped on with the exercise.
Self-worth, self-esteem. You're not happy about yourself. Part of it's chemical. Like you're
Part of
born
it?
with a certain amount. Some people are born with a chemical, and a lot of people are chemical imbalance. But now they say depression isn't the low serotonin. They're saying, new studies are saying it's all environmental. It's all baloney. So now you got psychiatrists arguing with other psychiatrists, arguing with the medical community. There's a big argument literally going on right now about antidepressant medications. The best antidepressant medication is exercise.
Yeah.
I
Well, I
hate to
agree
keep
with
preaching
that.
about it,
Yeah, I
but
agree
I'm
with
telling you, it's the best medication there is, period.
And then not being afraid to go in for a little psychoanalysis. We all have hurts from childhood.
Yes.
Healing that child
What
and,
kind
and
of
getting
hurts? Like being bullied around, being criticized. You're Jewish.
Mommy
you're
didn't
ugly,
love
you're
me,
stupid,
yeah, any
you're-
of those
You look
things,
funny. You
All those
walk
things.
funny. All those things that
Yeah.
are hurt, and you grow up with this.
it
low
creates an
self-worth.
image.
Yes.
And you buy into that image, and you got to get high to stand yourself in the
You
mirror.
got to get high in
So,
order to stand,
yeah.
in order to feel good about yourself.
Right.
And
So
then and it's a snowball effect. It's horrible. And then you get old. You can't. My father was an alcoholic. My brother, my father. It's just terrible. I think back. Why did you drink so much, Dad? What was the deal? Well, some people say now there's an alcoholic gene.
Yeah.
Once you drink, you're screwed.
Yeah.
But the answer is just don't drink. Find a way to feel better about yourself.
Well, that's the key, I think, huh?
And you know what the real way to feel better about yourself is? Accomplishment.
There you
Set
go.
some goals. Personal
That's-
goals, physical
that's
goals,
exactly right.
psychological goals, fitness goals. And guess what? They don't have to be big goals, but set some friggin' goals. And then every day inch towards those goals. Like he wants to be a successful entertainer, right? You've already had a successful career. I've had success in my career, but I constantly set new goals every single day. That's very important. Little goals, big goals. They don't have to be financial goals, just personal goals. Like I want to lose another 100 pounds. I
Yeah.
lost 100 pounds. I feel great about myself for doing that, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about yourself?
I'm feeling better every day.
Every day.
Every
so
day.
you're a testament to that.
Yeah. And real quick, once you get the weight started to move, it moves pretty well. It doesn't take long.
By the way,
What time do you have? Time do you want?
I don't want to bore people too much.
How much is it?
117.
We're about 20 minutes into it.
Okay. I don't want to bore people too much.
Well, no, and that's fine. Let's see who we got on. Let's see. We've got. Thank you, Robert, and thank you, Bron3333. That's cool to see you joining. Mason, everybody joining. We're talking about addictions and why they exist and what we can do about them with Ron Bass from Soar High. And this is Ron's first time on my channel, but not his first time on the air. So I'm going to return you to Ron, and we're going to do about another 5 minutes, and then maybe we'll entertain a little Ron's rants if we can talk him into that. So here's back to Ron.
So let's talk about alcohol. Why is that such a big problem? I'll tell you why. Because it's legal, it's available, it's easy to come by, and once you start drinking, guess what happens? You start feeling better. Why do you feel bad to start with? We just talked about that because low self-esteem, low self-worth, you've had a bad life, people have been mean to you, you don't feel good about yourself. I got a friend right now that's in jail, and he is worried that his wife's going to leave him. He says if his wife leaves him, he's going to commit suicide. I said, my God, man, you can't pin your whole self-worth on a relationship. You got to focus on yourself. That's what matters. Yourself, your own feeling about how you feel about yourself. Focus on that. You're worth more than that, man. You can't decide that your life is only worth based on a relationship with somebody else. And people get hung up on the codependency. Think about how that's an addiction too, where people get too hung up on relationships. I've got a friend right now that's left his wife for another woman. Well, is that an addiction because he's addicted to the new personality? Is he making a good judgment? In my opinion, no. I think it's a horrible judgment. If he's not happy with his wife, try to work it out, right? But don't leave your wife right in the middle of a marriage for another person. That's horrible for both sides. Nobody wins in something like that. Why are people so codependent? Why do you think so, Keith?
Well, I think we're wired for codependency in
You
a
think
way.
we're wired?
I do. Human beings are constantly searching for a mate. They're always looking for someone to run with them. All right? It starts with a girlfriend or a boyfriend or dog friend, whatever it is you choose, and it kind of carries through life. It took me until 60 years old or plus to be comfortable with just me. And I'm finally fine with just me, and God, I wish I'd have known to be
Years ago.
Years ago. You know, out of the couple of marriages I had came some kids that I'd move the moon for. So thank God they're here. But I didn't need the relationship.
You didn't need the rest of the shit.
I just needed the kids, and I got them. So, and I hope you're watching. So, yeah, I think people are wired to have someone in their life, but then we choose badly.
Why do we choose badly? What's the deal?
Reminds me of mommy, reminds me of daddy. I couldn't change daddy. Maybe I can change him. Maybe I can change her.
I think it's mostly a sexual addiction when it comes to codependency on
It
a
could be that as
relationship
well.
side. True relationships should be based on respect. I think the best friendships are friendships without romance. Because if you really respect somebody and care about somebody and admire somebody, that works.
I agree.
But when it's based on attraction, usually that wanes. The old 7-year itch thing. After 7 years, you're just not that attracted anymore. Now, some people are going to disagree with that. Some people are going to say that's baloney. I think the majority of why are divorces so high? Like 60%, 70%.
Oh yeah, it's obscene. Yeah.
That's what happens. I had a friend of mine that was a lawyer that was a divorce attorney. He said there's 2 reasons that people divorce: money and sex. So I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not trying to be negative or cynical, but I mean
Money
that's
and
the
sex
reality.
don't sound so negative.
Well, no, sex is good, but the problem is when you get emotionally attached,
Right. Yeah.
and then one side or the other isn't happy after a few years, and then what happens?
Yeah.
It goes to hell in a handbasket, and then it's hell to pay. It's hell to pay.
I saw something today that said only fall in love as deep as you're willing to be hurt.
I like that.
Yeah, that's pretty good, huh? So, yeah, that's pretty much where it's at.
I'm not saying don't take the risk to have a relationship, but you got to go in with wide open eyes.
Wide open.
And you better be prepared, like you just said, to take the heat.
Take the heat
If
when
you're
it
not
comes
willing to
in.
do that, don't do it.
Yeah, what is it? They say, don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Yeah.
I feel like just like addictions, like we was talking about with chemical imbalances and stuff, like some people just feel like they're just missing something, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause, like,
Yeah, good
there are
point.
Well, that's
some
depression.
people- well, but there are some people that stay with other people
some
for
could be
negative
depression.
reasons, you know what I'm saying? Like you can see they're in a toxic relationship.
It's
they're
not, but it's
not
unhealthy.
beneficial.
It's
Yeah.
unhealthy.
You can see it's not healthy. Just like drugs, smoking, meth, crack, heroin, all that other stuff.
I
that
guarantee
they
if
stay
you were
with.
Toxic
sober every day, you
relationship.
worked out every day like you used to work out, your career would be a lot bigger, a lot faster, a lot more successful sooner, in my opinion. And let's say you hit the big times. To maintain the big times is harder than getting to the big times. I'm telling you, I know from my own experience. Once you hit success, it takes a lot of dedication to maintain it. It's not like, hey, look at me, I'm successful now. No, it doesn't work that way. You got to work 10 times harder every single day to maintain it. Am I right, Keith?
You're right. Yeah, and then
It's
everybody
fleeting, it's
expects something
fleeting.
bigger each time. So you can't rest on your laurels.
To not rest on your laurels. A
No,
lot to
you
think
can't.
about. I know we're covering a lot of stuff here, but let me take a break here and say this. We'll talk about our sponsor. America's Same Day Service is our original company. We're a home repair service. So if you'll go to samedayservice.com and pull up the service work order and fill it out, I'll receive that. If we have people, we're trying to be a nationwide company. So if we have people in your area, we're going to send a technician out. If we don't, we're going to let you know right away as well, because we're not in every city at this point, although we're trying to be. We do electrical, handyman, appliance repair, that sort of thing, so home repairs. Okay, so that's the commercial break.
That's it.
So now I think we'll kind of get to the summary. Any last words from you guys?
I think we could do a whole nother podcast on toxic relationships, but we'll get
I
to
do
that.
too. I do too.
Yeah.
Maybe next week, guys.
Maybe next week.
Toxic relationships.
Yeah. So I think we're pretty much got the time limit that we want.
How
so,
about Malik? Has he got any final words? Like,
Follow
screw
me.
you, Ron, you're crazy. Don't ever do this again.
Leave me alone.
No, no,
Get off
leave
my
me alone.
weed. Yeah.
No, I like doing stuff like this because you get to see like a different perspective between the generations. You know what
I
I'm saying?
like
Like
that,
it's always progressive. You know what I'm saying? But it just like life in video games, it changes with time. It's different. You know what I'm saying? There's different ways to handle it, do things. It looks different, feels
Yes.
different. You know what I'm saying? It's a different experience. So it's always
It's interesting,
cool to
huh?
just- Yeah, I like doing stuff.
And last words from you, Ron. Then I'm going to
Last
sign
words
off,
from me
and we're
will
going
be,
to.
just remember, if you don't give up, the stars will always line up. So until next time, stay positive.
There you go.